welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. This is Journal with Fran. Today we are celebrating the beginning of the month of April with my April currently inked. I usually do some pre-prepping with my currently inked pages, but I just did not have time to do that today. So I'm gonna talk through the start of setting this up, and then once I get my inks out, we will be doing more of a voiceover. So the stamp set I'm using here for my currently inked is from Everyday Explorers Co. And ooh, I didn't do that all that great, but I really adore their ink sets, or not their ink sets, their stamp sets. And so I believe this set is called the Currently Inked set. And every month I use a different bottle. I think this month I want to use like this bigger looking bottle. So let's do that. So these stamp sets I put on the acrylic block. And then we stamp it down. So let's see, I have 4 ink colors this month. I've also been really playing around with the way I do the layouts of the stamps. So I think this month, since it's 4, every ink is gonna get a quadrant. Now this is not exact measurements, I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but sometimes I think the imperfections are what make these things in the journaling and planner hobby fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay these down. And my ink pad here is this brand. I bought this from the M. Lovewell storefront when we were in LA last weekend. I'm just blotting any excess ink on this towel here. I think the best way, if I wasn't filming, would be to go to my sink and just rinse the stamp out. So I'm gonna put this stamp set aside so I can remember to do that when I'm done with today's video. And so now I can pretty much put these items away as well, since I don't need to do any more stamping. Okay, so while we wait for this ink pad to dry, I also like to go over my previous month's currently inked. And for the month of March, I had these 4 inks. A couple things, I finally finished all the brown sugar ink in the creme, so I've rinsed it out. I probably need to take this apart because I can still see a little bit of moisture in the pen, but it was my first time cleaning Aid Frisbee Eco, so a lot of lessons learned there. My black is still inked up because surprisingly I am getting much better at using colored inks. The espresso I used, it's kind of like maybe a third of the ink that was in here because it wasn't like totally full, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. Unfortunately, the Dominant Industry Seaweed ink and this Kaweco student pen did not pair as well as I wanted it to. Like, it would start, I would get false starts, and then it would start really strong, and then when I would get to like further down in the page, it just was starting to kind of like fade, so the ink flow was just not as consistent and solid as I would have wanted. So I'm gonna take that ink out of here, and then whenever I decide to use this pen again, I'm gonna try a different green ink. So not giving up on that pen just yet because I really enjoy the pen body. All right, and then as for the Kakano Madoromi series, or the Dreamy Blue, I am so surprised that this was actually my favorite for the month. I'll talk about it more in my flip through, but it just was something about the Pilot steel nib here. This is in a fine. It's just so good. It's just such a nice experience. So that is my summary for this month. Now let's jump on over back to our April currently inked. So April is my birthday month. I think this is the most excited I've been for a currently inked lineup. So As I shared in my recent currently inked videos, I like to pretty much pick out the journaling kits that I'm going to use for the month and use the journaling kits as a guide to what ink colors I want to use. I use the large monthly deco sheet from Coffee Monsters Co. for my Happy Moments monthly log, and then any leftover stickers I have, I also use that in my Hobonichi week. So here is Helen's April spread. It's like April showers bring me flowers. I am hoping for a little more sunshine in April though, but I do love that blue color palette. So to kind of try to do a continuation of the blues, I chose this Sadie Stickers journaling kit. Well, not journaling kit, but some pages from Sadie Stickers. This is from her denim series. So I got some ink swatches as well as a deco sheet. Next, April is also cherry blossom season. So I am using this Letters to Apollo journaling kits, or her like $2 holla specials. This is her Sakura set. So we've got 10 pages of small journaling there. So this brings in pinks, but it also has a little bit of the blue. So I thought that was a good tie-in. And then again from Sadie Stickers, I have a deco sheet with some ink swatches, and this is like a lighter pink with some like beige and tan. So I thought that would be a nice kit. And then because I love my neutrals, I decided to pull out the best journaling kit from Sadie Stickers. So you can see there's some silver foiling as well as it's just neutrals galore. So I have that. And then from my Letters to Apollo Advent, I pulled out some like random ephemera page, just ripped pages, full boxes, just to do more of a freeform decorating, but it also adds to the neutrals. When it comes to picking stickers for my journaling, I sometimes pick too much. So I think this will be more than enough for April, but I did want to have the variation of inks to play with. All right, friends, voiceover Fran taking over here to start talking through the inks and the pens that I've selected for this month. So I did something a little different this time around. I actually swatched all the inks into the stamped bottles before telling you which pen has which ink. I don't know what I was aiming for, maybe because the inks are but some of the inks are a little more complementary than it is like an exact match to the pen, and so I thought it would be fun to kind of guess which pen had which ink. But I really love seeing all these colors together. I think they match my sticker kits really well, and I'm really excited to use the pens that I inked up. So to start off, I have my Esterbrook Estie in Winter White. It's got gold trim, and I have a mini stub nib in this pen, and the ink I chose for this pen is the first one here, which is Diamine One More Sleep. And I did swatch this ink recently in my Purple Inks exploration video. On the Van Ness Pen website, it's categorized as a blue ink, but one of you watching my videos said that this ink is very much a periwinkle, and I love that description. I love the color periwinkle, and periwinkle to me is definitely a bluish purple, so I'm very excited to use this one in my Winter White. This is the first time I'm using my Winter White SD pen. A lot of these pens, it's the first time I'm using them, so very excited to see how this does in my everyday journal here. All right, the next pen that I have inked up is my Platinum 3776 Century Shape of Heart in Chai Latte, and the nib here is, I believe it's a 14 karat gold nib in a fine. And it is inked up with Sailor Ink Studio 273. This is a light brown ink, I'd say maybe even like a tan. But what I love about this ink is that you kind of see some pink tones in it, and so I feel like it complements the whole color palette for the month. And again, this is the first time I'm using this pen inked up in my currently inked lineup, so very excited to have this one in the rotation as well. All right, the third pen for this month
is another Platinum 3776 Century, but this is in the celluloid body and it is the Ishigaki Calico. This is with the 14 karat nib and also in a fine nib. I don't know if I said that sentence correctly, but you get the gist. And the ink that I'm using in this is Monteverde Moonstone. If you've watched my previous videos with the Calico pen, this is no surprise. I really like how this ink flows with this nib and this pen, so I just decided to keep that pairing for this month of journaling. And last but not least, I have my Sailor Pro Gear Slim in Winter Rain with a 21 karat gold nib, and this one was originally a medium fine that I ground down to a cursive italic, and I've got Wearing Gull Floating Clouds inked up in this one.
Okay, well my camera stopped recording and I, again, so distracted, I did not pay attention, but to close out the currently inked, we've got my black pen of the month, and I decided to go with the Pilot Kakano Ivory from the Madarome series. So here is the beautiful lineup of pens this month. Again, my birthday month, I'm so excited. I think these are all my favorite pens right now. Like I'm at a place with my fountain pen collection where I'm pretty happy with what I have. Like I'm not unhappy with any single pen because I've kind of destashed the ones that have either frustrated me or I feel like I'm not actually using. And so these are probably my top 4 loves right now, and using them during my birthday month again is really special. And so let me give you a close-up of the samples. I did smudge the Moonstone stamped bottle a little bit. I love that this Sailor Ink Studio in the chai latte kind of has some pink hues to it. I'm really excited to see what everyone else has selected for the month of April. In the meantime, here is my little spread. Let me know in a comment down below if we'll be using the same pen or using a similar ink in the month of April. Super excited for this month, guys. I think I've said that like 10 times. So please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you at the next one. Happy April!